Africa is rich with natural resources. It holds 30% of the world's minerals, 60% of arable land, and a youth population that's unmatched. So, why are some African countries still poor, while others rise? In today's documentary, we break down the untold truth behind poverty in Africa, from bad leadership to debt traps and what needs to change. When Europe carved up Africa during Berlin Conference in 1884, they didn't just take land, they shattered tribal system, imposed artificial borders, and extracted wealth without building solid institutions. Even after independence, many African countries were left with weak economies and conflicting identities. Some nations, like Nigeria or the Democratic Republic of Congo, are still grappling with the consequences today. Corruption has bled African nations for decades, from Mobutu in Zaire to the modern scandals in Zimbabwe, Sudan, or Guinea. Billions meant for roads, hospitals, and schools disappear into private pockets. Many poor countries have rich leaders. When leadership is focused on personal gain instead of national progress, poverty becomes the default setting. Countries like Chad, Guinea-Bissau, or South Sudan rely on a single export, such as oil, copper, or cocoa. But when global prices crash, their entire economy crashes with it. Unlike nations that diversify, many African countries fail to build industries, process foods locally, or move up the value chain. In the name of development, poor African countries borrow heavily, but loans from the IMF, World Bank, or China often come with strings attached. Debt repayment swallows up health and education budgets. Some leaders take loans for showy projects that don't bring long-term growth, creating a vicious cycle of poverty and dependency. In countries like Central African Republic, South Sudan, or Burkina Faso, conflict makes development almost impossible. War destroys schools, roads, businesses, and displaces millions. Even after peace, it takes years to rebuild trust and infrastructure. Where there is no peace, poverty thrives. Poor nations often underinvest in their future. With weak schools and struggling healthcare, generations are left behind. Educated citizens build economies, but if millions of children don't finish school, how will the nation innovate? Without strong health, a nation cannot be productive. Africa is not one story. While Nigeria, Kenya, and Egypt are growing fast, countries like Comoros, Somalia, and Niger still battle hunger and low GDP. Some regions attract investment and tech, while others are isolated and forgotten. Poverty isn't just national, it's regional. So, what's the solution? Better leadership rooted in transparency, investing in education and health, not luxury, trade amongst Africans, diversifying economies with value-added industries. Africa's future doesn't need to mirror itself in the past. The poor countries of today can be powerhouses of tomorrow if the right steps are taken. Poverty in Africa is not a cause. It's the result of decisions, many of them reversible. Which African country do you think is ready to rise next? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives in Africa's transformation. My name is Scott Pierce and I will see you in the next video.